right now on 5 on your side at 10.
A deadly shooting caught on camera. What we've learned from police about a homicide on Talmadge Avenue.
It's been dry for most of the day, extremely warm, and while we didn't set a record high temperature, we were close to it. When that wall of rain arrives, we'll track that for you and how much of your holiday it impacts.
But first,
it's definitely a tragedy, especially around the holidays, makes it tougher.
A deadly fire at an Illinois senior living community. What we know about the blaze that took the life of a neighbor and mother. A woman is dead after a fatal fire in a senior living community in Highland, Illinois. The damage happened late last night. Police and fire teams are working throughout the day to try and figure out the cause. Good evening, I'm Mark Maxwell. 5 on your sides, Annie Krall spoke with the neighbors living at that Highland Villas senior apartment about the tragic and sudden loss this Christmas Eve.
So then I opened the door and all I could see was fire engines and firemen and police.
At about 10 minutes to 10 on Saturday night, Nancy Sudbury was watching a Christmas movie inside her apartment in Highland, Illinois with her husband.
I heard the sirens and stuff in the background, but I didn't think it was part of my movie.
It was the Highland Fire Department being sent to a residential fire at the Highland Villas senior apartments.
Here at the 6-unit apartment complex, the Highland Fire Chief tells me that there was smoke billowing out of one of the homes. He says there was almost zero visibility, so his crews had to be strategic about how to get to the one person trapped inside.
It makes it difficult, and just remember the sprinkler systems are coming down as well, dumping water on you and everything else. So, but we were fortunate to find her rather quickly and get her out to EMS treatment so they could get her transported.
The woman's name has not been released, but she was treated and taken to St. Joseph's Hospital. She later died from her injuries.
It's just a sad thing. And this time of the year, the holidays. And she was a nice lady. She'd always, you know, if I was out or, hi Nancy, or it was always hi hun. Hi hun, how you doing?
Neighbors say in this senior living community, for folks typically 55 and older, it's friendly and peaceful. All the more shocking for the woman's family who was coming to see her for Christmas.
Her little dog survived, and her daughter was coming down to visit, and she didn't make it in time.
Sending our condolences to the family obviously is first and foremost, and that anytime you lose a family member, it's hard, but under these circumstances, it makes it even more difficult.
Reporting in Highland, Annie Krall, 5 on your side.
The cause of that fire remains under investigation. First responders are reminding people who may be visiting loved ones this holidays to know where escape routes are in each home and make sure you have a working fire extinguisher or sprinkler system if possible. We now know the name of a man who died this morning after a triple shooting in North St. Louis County. 33-year-old Kenneth Covington was one of the 3 men shot in a parking lot on West Florissant Avenue. One of the survivors is the son of local sports analyst Carl Reed Jr. Police say a fight broke out inside one of the businesses and spilled out into the parking lot where the 3 men were shot. All of them were taken to the hospital. Covington died. The other 2 are expected to survive. The investigation is ongoing. And a little less than an hour later, another person was shot, this time near Minnesota Avenue and Potomac Street in Gravois Park in St. Louis. Police say a man was shot in the neck there. He was taken to a nearby hospital and pronounced dead. That incident is under investigation as well. Right now, police have not told us if they have a suspect or if they know the name of the victim or the reason for the shooting. We'll keep you updated as we learn more. A Pattonville school district worker is in jail in Lincoln County tonight, arrested on charges of sexually abusing at least 3 children. Michael Johannes was taken into custody at the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office on December 20th. Investigators say he met his victims, 2 of them under the age of 10, through a friend. Charging documents say Johannes met the victims at an O'Fallon church and would message them in texts or through video games. According to a spokesperson, Johannes was a communications specialist with the school district and is on unpaid leave. They say to their knowledge the charges are not related to Johannes' work at the school or any of the students there. Tonight, we're learning more about a deadly shooting on Talmadge Avenue. Early this morning, 1 man was shot and killed on the porch of a short-term rental property. 5 on your side's Laura Barcheski talked with concerned neighbors.
Many of the neighbors near the Talmadge Avenue home didn't want to go on camera as they were concerned about their own safety, but told me off camera this isn't the first time they've heard shots coming from that home. We want to warn you the video we're about to show may disturb some viewers. St. Louis police say around 3 a.m. on Christmas Eve, they were called out to the 900 block of Talmadge Avenue in the Grove neighborhood after a man had been shot in the chest. Shortly before the shooting happened, Ring camera video from a neighbor nearby shows a dark-colored SUV parking near a house on Talmadge. 4 people get out. One had a mustard-colored jacket on and was holding an object as they walked toward a house. A different camera shows the group walking up to a house on Talmadge, and the person in the mustard-colored jacket is talking to someone on the porch. It's hard to hear what's said except for a few seconds.
Come home.
The conversation continues for a few more seconds as several people walk down the short dead-end street.
What you want, man?
That's when someone else starts shouting, and the person in the mustard jacket starts shooting at someone on the porch before taking off down the alley. Neighbors nearby who are concerned for their own safety and declined to go on camera say the shots woke them up. Another neighbor says this isn't the first time they've heard shots coming from that house, along with loud parties at all hours. They tell us it's a short-term rental listed on Airbnb. TBFS Investments is listed as the owner of the property located in Springfield, Illinois. The website says they also own 113 other properties both in Missouri and Illinois. We reached out to them and they declined our request for comment. The identity of the victim has not been released by police, and so far the suspect who did this is still out there and has not yet been arrested. If you have any information about what happened, you're asked to call police right away.
A suspect has been charged after a recent shooting at a barbershop on Washington Avenue in downtown St. Louis. Antoine T. Bankhead faces charges of assault, armed criminal action, and possessing a firearm. Police believe Bankhead and another person walked into that business and shot someone in the arm 2 days ago. They both left the building before police arrived, but they were able to quickly identify him. The victim needed surgery for his gunshot wound. Charges have also been filed in a hit and run that happened earlier this month. St. Louis Circuit Court clerk Sierra Sherman faces counts of leaving an accident and tampering with evidence. Police say the crash was partially caught on security cameras by the Quick Trip at Gravois and Nebraska Avenues on December 15. The victim was identified as Mark Johnson. He suffered head trauma and was pronounced dead at the hospital. Sherman reportedly abandoned her car behind Best Deal Motors and removed her license plates. Israeli forces are intensifying their military operations as they honor their war dead in the Gaza Strip this weekend. CNN's Rick Damigella has reaction from religious leaders around the world as the conflict tears through the Holy Land.
The Israel-Hamas war casting a shadow of suffering over this year's Christmas.
Christmas is supposed to be a time of goodwill to all men and peace on earth.
Bethlehem, revered as the birthplace of Jesus by Christians and also deemed sacred in Judaism and Islam, remains hauntingly silent this holiday. Local leaders limiting festivities to show support for Palestinians amid Israel-Hamas clashes in Gaza. Pope Francis expressing his heartfelt concerns regarding the continued conflict Sunday from Vatican City.
Let us be near our brothers and sisters who are suffering because of war. Let's think of Palestine, Israel, Ukraine.
As Israel expands military ground operations, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu honored at least 10 Israeli soldiers who were killed Saturday.
The war is exacting a very heavy cost from us. However, we have no choice but to continue to fight.
President Biden highlighted his weekend conversation with Netanyahu, emphasizing a discussion on objectives and phases. Netanyahu reaffirming his steadfast commitment for complete victory.
We shall win this war and secure our common values and our common future.
Rick Damigella, 5 on your side.
You can get updates about that conflict if you text the word Israel to 314-425-5355. All right, let's check in with meteorologist Gary Frank. He has our weather first forecast tonight. Hey, Gary.
Hey, good evening, Mark. This is not what we would expect. Christmas Eve, we'd be talking about snow or cold air, and we just don't have any of that. It's going to be a while. We have to look elsewhere for snow as we are less than 2 hours away from Christmas starting up. But right now, downtown, it's warm. It's very pleasant to be outside, and this is where a blizzard warning is taking place right now. And it's just on the other side of Denver for that game. But overall, we've got a pretty good amount of rain. You're starting to see that snow behind it. But this is what's responsible for some pretty consistent rain, really from Columbia off to our west, and overall, that's where most of the rain has been. We've seen a couple of sprinkles, rain settling just west of Herman now and in Gasconade County. I think overall that rain is coming here. It's a wall of rain. It's going to take some time to get here, but for now, it's dry. It'll stay that way for at least another couple of hours. 61 degrees right now. We still have a southeast breeze at around 20 miles an hour. Still dry air, it's fighting, but I think after midnight, those chances go up, and you can expect a rainy morning. It's going to be an easy morning to sleep in, not that you're going to be, but we're still going to be talking about rain through portions of the day tomorrow when the temperatures fall, just how cold it gets as we finish off the month of December.
All right, believe it or not, some procrastinators put their Christmas shopping off until Christmas Eve, and they still scored some deals on gifts tonight. NBC's Mary Marcos has more about what shoppers faced when they were down to the wire.
Usually we start today, okay? We started 2 days ago, so I think we did pretty well with a head start.
Holiday shoppers rushing to buy those few final gifts on their list at the South Shore Plaza, which opened early on Christmas Eve.
They opened up at 8 o'clock. I'm glad that we beat the traffic because there's nobody here.
And they're taking advantage of those last-minute sales.
We have deals going on. Everything is 40% off, so people is enjoying that deal.
Consumers may say they're feeling low because of world affairs and inflation, but according to experts, it's not slowing their spending.
Though there's inflation everywhere, but thank God we're doing pretty good.
The National Retail Federation is expecting holiday shopping to hit record numbers at a total of more than $957 billion. That includes more than $273 billion in online sales.
So you can just order a lot of things online. It's probably the easiest thing to do.
According to the U.S. News and World Report, 35% of shoppers are still looking for that perfect gift. 16% say they always wait until the last minute, 10% just don't like shopping, and 5% recently activated a new credit card. The rest is up to the big man.
I'm going to get every Santa for Christmas, and they'll give me presents.
She had a lot of gifts. I told her Santa's got a lot of gifts for her, I think. She's been such a good girl, huh?
Coming up, the secret ingredient is who's serving the food. The St. Genevieve Coffee Shop brewing up opportunities for workers with special needs.
51 degrees this morning in St. Louis. That's the 5th warmest low of all time on Christmas Eve. But we may start off a little warmer tomorrow, but we'll finish differently. Why that record may not stand and what we're expecting over the next few days.
Hi, I'm Specialist Elijah Gines, currently attached to 135 AR for the UCOM deployment. I'm from East St. Louis, Illinois, and I want to wish my family a happy holidays. I miss you guys so much, and I cannot wait to get back home to you guys.
Making a Difference is sponsored by Midwest Bank Center.
Over the next few nights, we'll look back at some of our favorite stories from 2023. And tonight, we travel about an hour from St. Louis. As Mike Bush explains in his Making a Difference report, it was cold when he got there, but all he found was a cup of warmth.
At the corner of Merchant and 3rd in downtown St. Genevieve, they're putting the good in good morning.
Hello.
Welcome to Common Grounds, a coffee shop where something unique is brewing.
Coffee is good, and the food, I've not had anything that I was disappointed in.
But this cafe's secret ingredient isn't what they're serving, but who's serving it.
Here you go, sir. Is there anything else I can get for you?
They're always happy. I don't know if I've ever walked in here and seen somebody in a bad mood.
Hello.
Common Grounds opened in 2019.
We have these, and we also have our holiday flavors.
With the specific intention of hiring workers with special needs.
Did you guys enjoy your food today?
Oh, yes.
They learn how to run the cash register. They learn the difference between the muffins and the scones. They know how to run the Frankie machine, which makes our drinks.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
24-year-old Sam Stiegel has been working here since day one.
What do you like about this job?
Everything. I love my job.
And that seems to be a theme. No complaints about the daily grind.
Very lively, upbeat, they come to work and, everybody wants to do the best that they can with what they have. Hello.
Keep in mind, for many of the workers here, that's a refreshing change.
I had several jobs in the past where I did not get treated right because I have a learning disability. That's not part of that's not my fault that I have it. I just grew up with it. I was born with it.
The coffee shop is funded by a taxing entity in St. Genevieve County called Senate Bill 40. Deputy Sheriff Jason Schott is the chairman.
568.
They bought the old post office and then partnered with Caldi's Coffee Roasting Company out of St. Louis.
Business is great. You know, we went through the stint with COVID, kind of slowed us down some, but we recovered out of that, and we've been running strong ever since.
And this will be to go 7:37.
I want to know when you come in here, and you were here at the beginning, what it does to your heart.
Saying nothing sometimes says everything.
Okay, is there anything else I can get for you guys?
Making a difference by being respectful of our differences.
So if you were to give it a review, 1 star to 4 stars, 4 stars being best, what would you give it?
4, absolutely, and then some.
Common Grounds.
Have a good day.
A Missouri coffee shop that found the perfect blend.
You can't beat this place.
Can't beat it indeed. If you know someone making a difference for someone else, just out of kindness, let Mike know. You can email him at mbush@ksdk.com. All right, meteorologist Gary Frank joins us now with the Weather First forecast. Hey, Gary.
Yeah, good evening. And, you know, for the most part, it's been warm, it's been windy and dry throughout the day. Things will change over the next couple of hours. I think right now you can see the wind still blowing here in Belleville, festively decorated for the holidays as we're just hours away from Christmas here, but it's still dry, especially in the Metro East side. Temps still holding steady, right around 60 degrees, even at this hour on Christmas Eve. Where's the cold air? 20s, 30s, and 40s. And while we probably won't dip into the 20s for a few days, in the morning, we're going to start to see things change ahead of that front. 51 degrees is where we started off this morning, and I think it's a little warmer tomorrow. This is the 5th warmest low we've had all time on Christmas Eve. So as we'll start off warmer tomorrow, I think the second half of the day will be a little cooler. We didn't hit a record today. 68 is where we topped out, though. 73, we've hit twice the nearest 2021, just a couple of years ago. Wall of rain on the other side of the state that will continue to spread our way, and that's what's going to look like tomorrow morning, pretty much everywhere. I do want to highlight a couple of areas, I think, from Herman, really into Rolla, and for the most part to Cuba, north of Cuba, Bourbon, north of the interstate. That's where we're seeing most of this rain. And really anywhere from Herman to Warrenton, you're seeing really from New Haven, Marthasville, that's where some light showers are starting to pick up. That's going to spread your way over the next several hours. Look how this goes, at least through midnight, 1 or 2 o'clock. You'll start to see that spread by 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Most of us starting to get in on that rain. So overnight, temps holding steady in the upper 50s. We'll drop down into the mid 50s. Most of that rain really increases after 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning as we start off in the mid 50s. As that rain is pretty much all over us by Monday morning, Christmas morning, it's a wet morning. And then by 1 or 2 o'clock, I think we're really going to start to get rid of that rain, and then things are going to start to cool down. So as we go from 54 degrees to start off the day, 59 at midday, and that's our high for the day. Then temps start to fall as rain ends. Overall, I think we're going to get around a ½ an inch, give or take 1/10 of an inch either way. Some spots may get a little bit more, but I just don't think it's a lot. But then by Wednesday, our next system arrives, and that's going to cool things down and maybe mix in a flake of snow. But I think overall, that's another chance for rain. 60 degrees, we're very close to it. 26th, we're back into the mid 40s, and then we're going to stay that way as we trend cooler into the new year.
I'm Paul Cook. We're on the move. A big announcement recently about the I-55 construction project that goes from Lindbergh to South City, and with it, an apology of sorts, plus a new completion date. The contractor, KCI, used a hammer to demolish the road on I-55. It's usually a quick and effective way to remove the roadway, but this time it did more damage than good.
Bridge engineers have determined that most of these girders over the Union Pacific Railroad were damaged too severely to be repaired.
Unfortunately, designing and rebuilding these girders combined with a sluggish supply chain will delay the expected completion date of this $63 million project until 2025.
MoDOT and our contractors understand that the frustration and impact that this project has had on residents, businesses, and the traveling public. We are working hard to resolve this as quickly as possible.
Well, the relief drivers were expecting on I-55 and on the ramps at Loughborough and the others is not going to happen anytime soon. It's time to try out some alternate routes or side streets if you haven't already. So as usual, try to pack a healthy supply of patience. We're on the move. I'm Paul Cook, 5 on your side.
Raising a toast without the kick. 5 on your side's Kelly Jackson has more about non-alcoholic alternatives to sparkling wines. If you're skipping the booze at holiday parties, Consumer Reports taste-tested non-alcoholic sparkling wines to find you the best substitute for those champagne toasts. Here's Kelly Jackson.
Want to raise a toast this holiday season but don't feel like drinking alcohol? Good news, there are tons of alcohol-free sparkling wines to choose from and not feel left out.
Your guests may be driving, sober, pregnant, on medication. Whatever the reason, it's always a good idea to have some non-alcoholic options available.
To find out which non-alcoholic sparkling wines are worth serving, Consumer Reports enlisted 12 staffers to do a blind taste test.
They tasted 8 dealcoholized sparkling wines, which are made the same way as regular wine with the alcohol removed at the end. And they also tasted 2 wine alternatives, which contain herbs, fruit, tea, and some fizz.
Testers evaluated each beverage for flavor, bubbliness, and if they would buy it for themselves. So which ones did the testers like? A hit with most of the testers was Venata Tintelli Tempranillo Rosé, which they found to be refreshing and sweet, but not too sweet. For fans of sweeter wines, this runner-up may be for you. Sutter Home's Free Alcohol Removed Wines Sparkling Brut. And if you're looking to not spend too much, testers found the most affordable Rondell Zero de-alcoholized sparkling wine, a great pick for a party as it was found easy to drink. While non-alcoholic beverages can be great alternatives, it's important to keep expectations in check.
Don't expect the non-alcoholic versions to taste exactly like their alcoholic counterparts, but they are getting quite close.
Whatever is your preferred beverage, raise a glass to a safe and wonderful new year. Kelly Jackson, 5 on your side.
You know Dasher and Dancer and the rest of the crew. They're dashing their way through the sky. We're tracking Santa Claus tonight as he makes his way over to St. Louis eventually, where NORAD says he's at right now. It's that time of year and that time of night where stockings are hung by the chimney with care. Everyone's waiting for Santa Claus's arrival. We're following him on NORAD's Santa Tracker as he makes his way to St. Louis tonight. Right now, looks like country roads are taking him home over Charleston, West Virginia. We're going to keep you updated on all Old St. Nick's whereabouts. You can do it yourself if you go to NORAD.org. It's a high-tech facility up in Alaska, close to the North Pole. Soldiers there work year-round to keep track of Old St. Nick. There you can see him in his sleigh. All right, thanks for joining us at 5 on your side at 10. Now, here's Frank Cusimano with Sports Plus.